Hey everybody, my name is Maya and I am the Allergic Chick. So if you are brand new here, this channel is all about living with severe food allergies. I've lived with severe food allergies and anaphylaxis since I was 3 years old, and I'm 26 now, so I've got 23 years worth of knowledge, experience and tips that I really want to share with you guys. You can find out a bit more about my story on the YouTube card above. And as always, if you enjoy my content, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting brand new videos every Wednesday evening. Also, if you're interested, you can give me a follow on all social media platforms at Allergic Chick. So in today's video, I'm going to be specifically talking about flying with a food allergy. So in last week's video, I spoke about travelling with a food allergy and kind of the things that you can prepare and do before you go away. But in this episode, I'm going to focus on flying in particular and things you can do to try and have a safer and better journey. So my first tip for this would be to contact the airline before. I went into more detail in my video last week about booking a flight and things you can do to ensure that you'll have a safer journey. I'll link that on the YouTube card above. So the first thing I do when I board a flight is I always let the cabin crew know about my severe allergies. I always inform them before I book the flight, so they usually are aware, but it's always worth just flagging again when you board. So I let the cabin crew know about the situation, and then they proceed to make an announcement to all the passengers to let them know not to eat any nuts on the plane, and also that they won't be serving any nuts. I've never had any issues with cabin crew with my allergies. They've always been really good, but that's also partly because I've researched the airline before I've booked to make sure that they have a good food allergy policy. So my second tip would be to make sure that you're wiping down your seat, your tray table and your armrests before you sit down for your journey. So I usually take some antibacterial wipes with me for this. I would really advise doing this because you don't know what the passenger who sat on that seat before you was eating during the flight. It's very possible that they could have had, a packet of cashew nuts or something like that, or a packet of peanuts, or any kind of allergen. So wiping down your whole seat and tray table area with an antibacterial wipe will make sure that you're not touching any traces of your allergen and then, touching your face, or even worse, touching your food and ingesting it. A top tip for this is that some airlines now actually allow pre-boarding for this, so you can get on the flight a bit earlier and clean your whole area. I've personally never done this before, but it's a really good option. So my next tip is to make sure that you're 100% confident in the food that you're eating on the aircraft. As I'm sure you all heard, there was that really tragic case of that young beautiful girl called Natasha who very sadly and tragically passed away from a massive food allergy reaction on an aeroplane. This case really hit close to home for me because I would always go to Pret-a-Manger, get myself a sandwich at the airport and take it on the plane because I've never been confident in airline food. So I think this really awful tragedy has been a real reminder to be extra careful with what you're eating on the plane. I personally always stay away from the in-flight meals just because it's hard for the airline to guarantee that there are no traces of any of the allergens that you're allergic to. For me personally, I really think it's not worth the risk of eating food that you're not sure about on a plane. My top tip would be to make sure you take a big bundle of safe snacks with you. So what I mean by safe snacks is snacks that you have definitely 100% eaten before many times. It's really not worth the risk of trying something new when you're up in the air. So for me going forwards, I've boycotted Pret-a-Manger. I don't buy their products or eat there anymore. So what I'll do is I'll make my own sandwich or a couple of sandwiches depending on how long the flight is, take it with me and take some safe snacks that I know are 100% fine. So my fourth tip is to make sure that you have all your medication in your hand luggage. So it's really important to make sure that you have at least 2 of your adrenaline injectors. If you are travelling with a family or friend, make sure they know exactly where those injectors are. If you're travelling on your own, make sure that the cabin crew know where your adrenaline is stored as well. Another thing that's really important is to ensure that all of your medication is accessible even when you have your seatbelt on. So what I mean by that is don't put your medication in an overhead locker. Make sure that it's accessible under the seat in front of you or very nearby. As a final reminder, it's always worth checking your airline's policy on food allergy before you book. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching as always. If you like my content, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. I'll be posting a brand new video every Wednesday evening. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Thanks so much again for watching and stay safe.